Your face cam is zoomed up on the small one.
What's on the small one?
The phone viewing is like zoomed in on your face.
Oh, that's weird.
I don't know what happened there.
Let's see. Let's adjust it a little bit. I don't know if I can adjust it. It won't let me.
Right.
That's weird. Oh well. Well, they'll see half my face.
Hold on, and then I gotta do this.
Sid says Zod was good too. Shannon was well casted, very well casted. Sid says thanks for saying it made 670 million instead of adjusted for inflation. Actually made. Look, I hate the whole adjusted for inflation bit that people love to try and play, that little card there. I think it's just pathetic because you have to look at things in context of when they released and what's going on at the time of release. And look, for as much as I love Man of Steel, for as much as I believe that this movie was a great start to the DCEU, which it wasn't even called the DCEU at the time.
Yeah.
I have to admit that it did not meet what my expectations were box office wise. Because like I said a little bit ago, you know, it was that whole idea that Marvel just made $1 billion movie. Yeah. 670 million. It's not, I'm not sitting here saying that that's bad or it was a negative or anything like that. I'm just saying that you're at the start of the superhero boom. Your last 3 DC movies were all phenomenal with the Batman trilogy. Again, yes, they couldn't get Superman right. They had trouble with Superman Returns and things before that. But I tell you what, I think that 670 was admirable, but I think it could have and should have done more. Are you good to go?
Yeah, hold on. I made it to it and then it stopped. Always something, Slav. I'm sorry. I was like literally right there. Give me 1 sec. Because like I said, I'm not using Max because I have the ad version. So I was like, not working.
That's exactly. Man of Steel and Superman had a similar performance, and both were 9th and 10th worldwide box office. Yeah, I mean, Superman in 2025 was a different monster than 2013. The genre is not as strong as it was back in 2013. It wasn't. It's not even as strong as it was 5 years ago. The genre, not the genre, but the franchise of DC has a lot of bad views on it. Prior to Superman, it was all about trying to get people back into the seats and back into the good graces of DC and their films. So yeah, I mean, again, you have to look at everything in context. And I know people love to sit there and say, well, Deadpool and Wolverine made over $1 billion. Okay, but that was a movie, a franchise that's been more than 10 years in the making.
Right.
The people have been wanting to see Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, and Ryan Reynolds Deadpool on the screen together in this way. Not like that terrible Wolverine Origins film, but like this. So that movie was going to all right, that movie's going to make bank regardless. All right, so we'll start it again. We're at 6:02. 3, 2, 1.
There we go.
And Jor-El's jumping into the diving into the water, and we see here.
Yeah. Now he's at the pods.
Yeah, we see here how Kryptonians are actually created. I mean, these are all Kryptonians here. This is how in that time or in this universe Kryptonians were made. Again, I think it was a very interesting angle for this. Sid says, okay, Slav, here you go. Man of Steel is a masterpiece compared to Slav Deadpool 3.
Yeah.
To be honest, to be fair, when I like, I said this last night on my live stream that every movie you need to look at in and of itself.
Yeah.
Deadpool 3, while I do agree that it's gotten worse and worse over time, over the couple years it's been out, it's still one of those movies that I sit there and I understand why it made $1 billion. I understand that it's a fun film, that there are moments in there that you can just have fun with. Whereas Man of Steel, to me, and I do believe it is a masterpiece. I believe it is one of those films that everything just hit right for this film. And yeah, I mean, that's just, you got to look at it in the context of what kind of movie it is as well. Deadpool and Wolverine wasn't going for this huge space sci-fi epic where Man of Steel was. Again, we're seeing Jor-El on his dragon. We see the planet in the background and the sky destroyed, which was actually, rumor has it, destroyed by the original Doomsday, which I think is really cool as well.
The fact that they got Russell Crowe is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, not
Like,
just Russell.
I had a lot of expectations from like, what's his name from the original, who played original Jor-El? Like, I forget the actor.
Yeah, the Godfather.
The original.
Guy.
Yeah, like a lot of big expectations, and then you get Russell Crowe. I don't think anyone else could probably do it.
Yeah.
Fill the shoes, basically.
Sid says, I respect your opinion, but honestly, I think Aquaman is a masterpiece of the DCEU films.
Maybe the first one. I don't know about the second one.
No, definitely not the second one. All film is subjective. Marlon Brando, not Michael Brando. Marlon Brando. Thank you. Yeah. Sid says Deadpool 3 is the only movie I walked out of. That's crazy.
Who did they get the actress for the mother? I forget.
Diane Keaton.
That's who it is?
No, her, not her. Oh, you mean her? Oh,
yeah.
She's not a big name.
I mean, yeah, I mean, kind of makes sense, but
yeah. No,
just remember one thing.
Diane Keaton. I was thinking of Diane Lane. That isn't Diane Lane. Martha Kent. Diane Lane.
Yeah. Why did you say that name?
Not that movie. Wrong movie.
No, wrong movie. We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
There's baby Cal again, about to get sent away. Just so much emotion in this scene.
We've had a son, Zod. The first 4. He's so serious in that quote in the line in the movie.
Mm.
It would have been cooler if they involved. It would have been similar to what we got in Superman the animated series with like Brainiac.
Can't have that on the screen.
What? Oh.
Yeah.
That makes it to screen, but everyone loses their minds with Nirvana.
Well, the Nirvana kid lost his mind.
I know, but you give him just the imagery.
It says Feral or Hot Girl, who's hotter?
We got gooners in chat.
Got a gooner. I guess it depends on what you're interested in, right? Isabel Merced's young. I mean, for me, like I'm 40. Isabel Merced's like 22 or something, 23. I don't know. She's young. I
gotta turn up a little bit. I have not watched this movie in like years. And I owned it originally on DVD when it first came out. And I was like, in the beginning, when I watched it, it's like the first time, I quite enjoyed it. But then as like over time, I've seen the problems that most diehard fans have pointed out, besides like Snyder fans. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think out of the three Snyder films, this has the least issues.
Yes, I would agree. Except for the father saying, "Oh, maybe we should let him live. Maybe we should not."
No, I mean, like, see, for me, I love that aspect and idea of this movie because
I just hate the fact that they wasted Kevin Costner like that.
I don't think they wasted Kevin Costner. I think he was perfect in the role of Jonathan Kent. I mean, we know the story of Superman. The fathers are they're gone. Like they're not there
Yeah,
completely.
yeah. Most of the story, yeah. We've had a son. He's all serious. The chest out. Gasp! His face. Gasp! What have you done?
Yeah. Cool
I
fight
will say
scene.
I will say the one thing is having those suits, like the mech suits or
the
like
battle suits.
The battle suits is pretty darn cool, just because it's different, new perspective. There really isn't that much like that, and maybe like the original, but the original designs are outdated. But this was pretty cool perspective.
The thing I really love about this stuff is how they made everything look so alien, but also advanced. Like everything looks alien.
Yeah, it does.
Whereas, like when you sit back and take a look at Superman the movie from '77, that movie it's dated, but the technology and they tried to make it look way more advanced.
Yeah,
but to me, it never looked alien.
Right.
This is both. This is alien and advanced, yet also archaic in a way. Which
this
I think
is when Warner Brothers had money.
And he just kills.
Why did you do that to Russell Crowe? It's not like he hasn't died before on screen. Like 1,000 times. I will say, as much as I love the Superman 2 Zod, he did fantastic as Zod, and I forget his name, but he did awesome as Zod.
Who, Michael Shannon?
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, Michael Shannon. Yeah, he's phenomenal. Terrence, what was it? Terrence
Kneel before Zod.
From the original, but yeah, Michael Shannon's fantastic as Zod.
I love how his rage controls him. But then he goes calmly away with his rage, like instantly.
Yeah. Terrence Stamp. Thank you, Menswear.
Thank you.
Terrence Stamp it is. I will find him!
I will find him!
Like I said, I love how they wrote Zod as well, because it just, he's got a noble type of reasoning to do what he's doing, and it's not completely out of line.
Blum, 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 blum. Can't forget that. I will say the designs for the council are kind of ridiculous. No lie.
Again, it's that whole idea of making it feel old and archaic while also showing it to be futuristic and sci-fi and advanced. I think they did a great job with that. The mixture.
Every last one of you. You think your son's safe, Slav? I will find him. From me.
Menswear says Superman 2025 greater than Man of Steel greater than Superman Returns.
Say Slav.
Now, I disagree.
I will find him.
But it's all subjective, so it's okay. It's okay.
Okay, can we just point out? I don't mean to be. I don't want to get punched, but
how they look like
wings,
like wangs. Yeah, I don't understand that. That's just weird.
like full on, no lie. I will never understand that. Why he did that.
I mean, we're 20 minutes into this movie, and
we're still on crypto. Yeah,
we're 17:45 into this movie, and it's still.
It's covering a lot. It's kind of covering a lot, but 20 minutes for your first that's a problem.
See, I don't think it's a problem. I really like it because
it does establish the world, yeah, and everything.
And the rest of the story also isn't rushed.
Right. Unlike BVS. Oh, no, you got to watch the extended cut. You got to watch the extended cut, Slav. It's much better. Even though it's like 5 minutes, 10 minutes better. More.
30 minutes.
30 minutes, what?
Menswear, please do BVS. I will definitely be doing BVS.
Yes, I have a lot to say about BVS, so I might join on that. I will say, this is one of the stronger scenes.
Of the music, movie. Come on,
the music and seeing
Zimmer,
and seeing her despair and her voice, just over the depths of her husband, Jarrell, and just seeing the planet just exploding in front of her, like just hopelessness.
Yeah,
the music was perfect, like you said. I think that's one of the powerful scenes in the movie in the beginning.
So Krypton is 19 minutes and 20 seconds of the beginning of the movie.
Is now bye-bye.
We now see the pod carrying Kal-El.
The child. The child. Look. Yeah, the child. Look, it's Grogu. So I said the child. You know what? One thing I will say about BVS, dude, even though this is Man of Steel, I love the promotion of those Saudi the commercials, the ad commercials of the planes with Gotham City and Metropolis. Yeah. That was like the coolest ad for both cities. And then the movie happened.
Now, the way that they tell this story, I think, is also very, very interesting. So the beginning of the movie is very singular story from point A to point B. That's how you get there. Once we get to Earth, once we see the pod heading towards Earth and about to hit the planet, essentially, we go back and forth with Clark on this journey until
Turkish, yeah, my bad.
Until he puts on the suit. Like, we go on this journey because we're seeing, as some podcasters have loved to call, Hobo Superman, essentially.
I mean, I like the unique perspective, because in the first 4 Supermans and Superman Returns, we just drop in. Superman's right there. You don't really see any development with Clark, and he's just basically, Superman already. This at least expands upon. That was a bad shot.
The special effects are rough, yeah.
That was a bad shot, dude. No lie. Oh man, but it was
2013 this movie came out.
Yeah, 13 years ago. Crazy. But my point is that this was definitely a creative liberty from Snyder. You just wanted to see the like. We really didn't. Besides the airplane scene in Returns, we really didn't see much like saving or doing things with other people besides like the main characters. If
I
you
like
get
to
what I'm
point
saying,
out
Slav.
in this scene, we see Clark doing that, and he's screaming, and his teeth are out.
Right.
His
Right.
teeth are kind of messed up.
He didn't brush his teeth. That's why.
He wasn't brushing them as he was growing up.
Yeah. You know what that whole scene was about?
What?
Showing the abs.
It was all about showing him having the heroic side of things and wanting to
yes.
do it. And then, like I said, this non-linear storytelling that we get throughout this movie starts here as well, because we see him in the present, and then we go back to the past where he's developing these skills and
Powers,
these powers, and it's freaking him out. This is kind of how, as I talked about with Superman last week, how they were
skip the power
showcasing
stuff,
well, they didn't skip that, but they were showcasing how Clark is human there.
Yeah.
This is how they handled it with this movie, and showing that he was just a little boy and he started developing these powers. Like, he was just a kid and he struggles with understanding what's going on with him. And it's showcasing and highlighting that he has these human emotions, these human beliefs, these human connections, and he's trying to understand. And you get the great performance of Diane Lane here, who just really delivers. Make the world small. Like, I love that. Powerful sis. Snyder also has his shaky cam for some reason during certain scenes, during the council and the world engine arriving. I mentioned it earlier, like the reason for the shaky cam was because he wanted, in those scenes of the action and important aspects and parts of the movie, like even here where we're watching where his mother's talking to him, the camera's moving and shaking. Like, it was a handheld cam almost the entire movie, but it was because he wanted the audience to feel connected and next to these characters, so it felt like they were actually there. It was just another step in trying to help us see Clark as human, because that was always everybody's concern up to this point, was how do you make Superman relatable and human? And that was kind of the idea and direction they decided to go with it, was with the shaky cam type of feel.
Where you at? So, pause that again.
Right here.
Don't pause it. Just tell me where you. What's
25:18.
Okay.
He's about to steal the clothes off the clothesline. Or the socks. Or no, he doesn't steal anything. Does he take the sock? What does he take? He takes something. Or no, he looks at it, but then takes clothes out of the car because the clothes are wet on the clothesline. Yeah. And dude is looking beefy as hell. Like, I don't care what you say. This is he is a good looking man, and I'm comfortable enough to say that. I'm comfortable enough to say that. Powerful says, Slav, you are shilling too hard for Zach. I'm not shilling for Zach. I'm just explaining. I understand where he's coming from. Like, look, this movie is what possibly my favorite superhero film. It probably is. And I've watched interviews and read so much up on why they did what they did. But again, this non-linear storytelling is here, where they go back to the bus scene, and you have Lana, you have Pete Ross. Pete is a bully in this iteration. Calls Clark a dick splash.
You could say, somebody save me. I'm joking. That's what Clark's hoping right now. This is a good scene.
I mean, it
Definitely,
is
definitely a
because
different perspective, different creative liberty. But like,
and again, you see how when he was younger in the
right,
classroom, the world is too big, mom, make it small, to this where he's understanding like I have these abilities to do good and I want to do good. It's showing how Superman Clark understands that what he's capable of doing, the growth that he's had to this point.
yeah.
Afbrat says this movie was entertaining and has its merits, but it's not on my favorites list. And he said, hello, or Afbrat said, good evening from Michigan. Hello. Powerful says, to be honest, I thought you liked Superman 25 more. I like Superman 25. I like it quite a bit. But as I said at the beginning of this video, Man of Steel just hit at a time for me that it really affected me emotionally, and I connected to it in different ways. So I love the movie. I love the music. The music is huge for me on this. Clark here saving the bully, saving Pete Ross. But there's so much about this film that, to me, just makes it better than Superman 25. However, I will say, like, as much as I love Henry Cavill as Superman, I think that David Corenswet encapsulates Clark and Superman better
than
Henry Cavill.
That's because of what he was given.
Yeah, that's true. Afred says the final scene of this movie is my favorite scene, though. It is a great scene because it's got that little play on words. Yeah, it's great. I love that. Now, here's a controversial moment in the movie. Pa Kent and Clark sit here.
Let's go from a Field of Dreams to depressing Superman.
See, I know that it's been explained time and time again, but
is this heaven? No, this is Kansas.
As a parent myself, we want the best for our kids. We want our kids to be safe. We want them to thrive and be successful, but in a safe manner. What Clark is capable of doing in this film, the powers and abilities that he has, his parents are legitimately afraid for him, not because they're afraid he's going to get hurt, but because they're afraid of how the world will look at him. And also on top of that, how the world will react to him. Mm-hmm. Because up to this point in this lore, there's never been anything like this. There's never been a metahuman. There's never been anything, at least in lore at this point. So for them to sit there and have this conversation that maybe you should let them die is a conversation that, yes, you could absolutely imagine a parent like this having, saying, look, I know you have these abilities, but our job as parents is to protect you. And we don't want you to do these things because we're trying to protect you. But just like any typical child, they always push the bar. They always toe that line. They always try to do more and try to prove to their parents that they know better than their parents know. And that is what this relationship, that's what they're showing here with this relationship. And it's beautiful. And I know people get upset because Pa Kent said, yeah, maybe you should let people die because we want to protect you. But that is him at the age of what? 12 here, 10, 11, 12, like however old he is here. Yeah. Now it would be different. Pa Kent talking to a 20-year-old, a 25-year-old Clark. That's different. But even at that point, he's going to want to protect his child and his son as much as possible. And that, again, is just something that people, I think, they look at the surface level of what they show in this movie instead of really digging deep. And that's kind of the problem why people have issues with it. Let's see. Powerful says, I didn't mind Pa dying like this. Well, I'm not to that part yet, but yeah. Afbrat, thanks for the live chat. It's keep mind off the Intense pain in my knee. Steroid injections suck. I agree. I've been there with knee pain. Trust me, for more than half my life, I've dealt with knee pain. And see, Pa Kent then explains, like, look, you were sent here for a reason, and if it takes the rest of your life to figure out what that reason is, I know you're going to do it. But at that point in time, Pa Kent and Martha Kent, Ma Kent, they are protecting him as much as possible, and that's what I love about it. And Afrat's right. It's funny because even in Superman 2025, they explain your choices, Clark, your actions. That's what makes you who you are, which I think is a fantastic, beautiful scene in that movie. Comparing it to what Pa Kent does here, but the ages are different. In Superman 2025, he's already Superman. Here, he's a child when he's talking to him. And then this part at the bar, this is where I'm at right now. Part of the bar where he just gets splashed with a beer. He shows the restraint that his father really taught him, and his parents taught him to be restrained and understanding.
I mean,
but he then does go out and destroys the person's truck. Again, that's not unlike Superman. I mean, take a look at the very first cover where he's destroying the green car on Action Comics. It's not that much different than that. So, he's taking care of a bully in just a different way. So again, I don't think it's out of character for him, where a lot of people want to try and say it's out of character. Powerful says they should have kept the Superman Legacy names. His name, it sounds better. Yeah, I wouldn't have minded it. And now I don't know if it's the Arctic or where. Do they ever say where they are? I can't remember. And then our first shot of Lois Lane, played by the beautiful Amy Adams.
It's a great casting, but if they were not cut, they should have made her hair black and not kept her traditional hair.
She's definitely a better choice than what's her face from Superman Returns.
Yes, I would agree.
She was terrible. She was terrible in that role. Totally miscast. But honestly, Amy Adams was up for that role in Superman Returns also. She was up for Lois in that film, and she didn't get it. She lost to what is that? Kate Bosworth? Is that who it was?
Yep.
But
it was Kate Bosworth, I believe.
Afra says, "I wish your live chat wouldn't be interrupted by ads, though." I see.
Well, we can't control that one. Only the evil company can, if they're even an evil company. Because they all are with the ad stuff.
So they're up north, because she says they're in Canadian. They're on Canadian soil, is what.
It's the dude from Law and Order.
Yeah,
that's like the first thing I said. It's the dude from Law and Order.
It's the dude from Law and Order. The West Wing.
And some random actor I don't remember in the background.
The beginning, the beginning portions of Lois Lane in this movie is written so well, all the way up to
for a modern version,
where she gets taken, where they get taken onto Zod's ship in the middle of the movie. Up to that point, she is written so well.
For a modern version, yes, I would agree. Because like the old ones, the Reeves ones, she's supposed to be, I mean, she's more of a damsel in distress still instead of this one. For now, for at least the beginning of the movie of this.
Yeah, I mean, she's not a damsel in the beginning of this, but then she becomes a damsel in distress. And then in Batman v Superman, she doesn't really do much. There's a couple scenes that are pretty good in that. And then Zack Snyder's Justice League, she's just non-existent.
No,
But
not at all.
the beginning of this movie with her, I think, is great. I think
I
they did
will.
a
The one
job.
thing I will say about the beginning, besides the opening, the first 20 minutes with Krypton, it's kind of slow, and the pacing's kind of a little bit rough, just for a personal experience for me.
It still all lands for me. I don't have any issues with the pacing in this movie at all. I don't. Let's see. Powerful says, I'm an award-winning reporter. Come on, Perry. Come on, Slav. You're glazing so hard. Powerful says, does DC not realize that Man of Tomorrow sounds like Man of Steel 2? I do think that they're going to change the name of Man of Tomorrow. I don't. Maybe they probably won't, but I think they might. I don't know.
Call it the Justice Friends. Why not, right?
Brett says, Slav, I'm sorry, man, but I highly disagree. Adams Lois was terrible and had zero chemistry with Cavill. But I wasn't talking about that. I said the beginning parts of Amy Adams, Lois Lane, from the point that she's introduced up to the point that she gets sent to Zod's ship. She is written well. She is portrayed well. I think it's fantastic. She's an investigative reporter in that point in time. But after that, after she gets on Zod's ship, she becomes the damsel in distress. And
yes.
I don't not like the chemistry. Like, they have some chemistry. It's not your typical strong love chemistry, but again, I will agree that after that certain point in the movie, her character just gets very weak and is not as interesting the rest of the way.
So
through the story.
It's supposed to go all the way in. That's what she said. That scene has become a meme so much it's not even funny. But Lois when she says that.
Powerful. Honestly, if they call it Justice League or Gang, it will make more money.
I think they should call it Justice Friends.
Super Friends.
Or Super Friends. I mean,
no,
it might. It could. It could make people curious, just with the title, and Fulham, and maybe make more money.
Maybe.
But the one thing I will say, if this is a team up, as much as I love Gunn's tone in writing, he's definitely got a. I mean, the one complaint everyone says is the jokes, the constant, what's it called? The explicit jokes, I guess. He's got to tone that down, and with the team up like this, he's got to attract probably I would say the younger viewers, just because it's a team up.
Maybe
if they want to change the perspective of some viewers in a way, not necessarily the actual writing of the movie, just the jokes, I would say.
Powerful's not wrong. Superman is not a big box office draw, and he hasn't been. They're still trying to crack that code.
We all know who the real drawing is. Can you guess who that is, Slav?
Wildcat.
100%. Alan Richardson. There you go. No, I'm Batman. It's definitely Batman.
Brett says Amy Adams is also 9 years older than Henry. I think in almost every adaptation, the actress playing Lois is always older than the actor playing Clark Soups. That's weird.
Slav, I brought this up last week, actually. Remember when they were doing... remember when that rumored Wonder Twins movie was supposed to happen, or series?
Yeah.
I kind of low-key wish it did. I mean, because, like I said, some people, know DC from, obviously for the comic book readers, and then there's older people that know Super Friends. it would have been kind of cool if they could have integrated it a little bit, but it's probably
Yeah.
two different things. It just probably would have been cool though, because of the fact they probably could have drawn some of the older
I
fans
think
that really don't understand DC, but
because of the time of the DCEU that they were
Yes.
talking about, that it would have failed miserably.
Right. Yes, it would have.
Let's see. Powerful. Meanwhile, a fourth Spider-Man film makes 800 million opening weekends. So unfair. It's not unfair. It's just that the Spider-Man franchise as a whole, so I'm talking about going all the way back to the Tobey Maguire films, to Andrew Garfield, to now, has been handled in such a way that, let's face it, in 2001, when that first Spider-Man movie came out, like, that was huge. Or was it 2002?
It was 2002.
But
because
it was huge because prior to that, we had movies like Batman and Robin, Steel. We had Blade, which was great, but this Spider-Man in 2002 was such a different type of movie. X-Men was even very different.
What you mean, though? We had the best live-action Spider-Man and the Japanese Spider-Man, dude. That's the best one. Come on now, Slav. Crazy story is that actor actually just recently died.
Yeah. Here's Lawrence Fishburne doing Perry White, which I think was great casting. I think
he's very much a good casting for Perry.
But just like Wendell Pierce is in Superman, as
this time he didn't have a cigar though. Come on now, you gotta have the cigar.
But Spider-Man, getting back to that, it's going to make money. I mean, it's Spider-Man because of that history. And then them connecting it to the MCU with Tom Holland and everything, yeah, that helps. And Tom Holland is a treat. Like, people just like the guy. He's nice, and you want to see him succeed and do well. And then this new Spider-Man movie is getting rave reviews right now. So, unfortunately, I can't see it till Saturday. So that's unfortunate.
Same here. I see it at 2:30 Saturday.
Hunter,
I'm gonna get some chilies, and then we're gonna go see it. So, I'm gonna have a good time.
I don't see Hunter Iggy's comment.
You hear me, Slav?
Yeah, I hear you. No, I don't see.
I didn't see it either, but I'm gonna head to Saturday 2:30 showing. I'm gonna go around noon to 12:30. Gonna head out to Chili's, get lunch for Chili's, and then gonna go to the movie.
Nice.
Yep. In 3D. Because that was the only showing that was available in XT at my Cinemark. Everything was sold out from Thursday to like all the evening stuff was all sold out, dude.
That's crazy.
But like Powerful said about, meanwhile, the fourth Spider-Man film, my point is, it's crazy. This is the fourth Spider-Man film and the third trilogy of Spider-Mans.
Third trilogy. Oh,
yeah.
It's
Tobey, Garfield, and then Holland is my point. Yeah. But everyone complains about originality and can't go see Supergirl because political views. But hey, that's beside the point. It's just the fact that, like I said, they complained about originality, and now we get like the 12th Spider-Man. Or the 13th Spider-Man. No, 10. You're right. You're 10.
We're at this history lesson here where Jor-El is talking to Clark and explaining Krypton and how that they came to be, and
I will say they were. I will say one missed opportunity, Slav, and I mentioned this earlier. They should have added something with Brainiac to this version.
I mean,
just a little tease or something, because they rushed Batman into that next movie, and if they would have set up, like, maybe we probably would have got a Man of Steel too.
Maybe.
But I'm just glad we're getting him a Man of Tomorrow, though. Finally,
there's rumor and speculation that Zach was thinking of Brainiac at one time, but it was never anything put pen to paper or stuff like that.
I don't. Can you see his comments?
I'm seeing it. I just pulled it up here. Yeah, I see his comment now, but I don't know what comment he's talking. Is he talking about something on Twitter?
X. Yeah, X probably in messages. Maybe a message request. Because you don't follow him. I don't think.
Oh, I do. He's talking about the Clayface being the Brave and the Bold. There's no reason.
There's no reason to. Yeah. At this point, I mean,
I am
unless they announce the director, the cast, like after Man of Tomorrow, like as soon as after Man of Tomorrow comes out, we are not getting Brave and the Bold for a minute.
I'm at 47:41 for the timestamp, 47:43, 44, 45. So that's where I'm at right now.
Just think though, Slav. By December, early December, we'll get a trailer for Man of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it'll probably be attached to part of Doomsday and Dune.
Brett says, every time I saw Supergirl in theaters, I was never the only one in there, which was nice. Supergirl probably would have done better if some people would have kept their opinions to themselves. I think it was just destined not to do well. I don't hold what Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker and those YouTubers were saying. I don't hold any weight to that.
They're awful people, though. You can't deny.
And here's the suit reveal, where they show the suit. He's not wearing it yet, but here's the suit reveal.
Yeah, I wish they would have used more brighter colors in this still, but I get the vision and the perspective.
No, for me, I've always said this suit is one of the worst Superman suits because of how muted and dark it is. I like the design. I just think it is too dark and too muted.
It needed to be more brighter, like it was in the what's it called? The Whedon cut, whatever. It needed to be as bright as that.
Honestly, I think the best version of Cavill's Superman suit was Batman v Superman. I think that's the best version.
It's a little, it's a little bright, little balanced, yeah.
Yeah, it's far better balanced.
There's the music, man. Yeah, don't make you cry, man.
I was right. The Batman 2 is literally hurting the DCU. I'm not saying it's hurting the DCU. I just think that they should not have gone with Elseworlds yet.
So,
yeah,
you gotta keep testing the comments. And after this, like I said in the private chat, sound good.
Yeah, that's fine.
But like I said in the message, I got you on there, and so it's recasting. So.
Afbrett said, I would love to see Soups and Bats on the big screen again. Yeah, same with me. Afbrett says the suit was terrible. It had no trunks. The trunks, I'm not a pro or against trunks. Like, I can take them or leave them. Just make the suit look good.
This version, I don't think you needed the trunks because it's more like Dark Knight and all like Nolan's trilogy with Batman. It's the serious tone, like they're on his own perspective on the character.
Yeah.
And this was Snyder's own perspective, regardless if he had help from Nolan. But it definitely didn't need the trunks for this version.
No. D-Man says, y'all think DC movies and or their universe will ever match the level of success height of the MCU and their characters? The most time passes, the more I think no. I think that it's something that could happen, but it's going to take 10 years. It's not going to be something that happens overnight. And that was the problem with the DCEU is they tried to do everything overnight and tried to rush it to be as big.
Yep.
And that was not going to happen. So that's why I think when you sit back and look at the DCU and people complaining about, Superman only
creative
made
liberties
218 and Supergirl bombed and who wants a Clayface? It's kind of like let's breathe, let it breathe. I agree that we need to have the bigger characters in the universe, but I think that we have to let it breathe.
The whole point is world building.
Yeah.
It's not like we understand you want to get to the main characters, but the whole point of the DCU at this point, as of right now, it's world building. You have to establish the world, and that's what Gunn is really good at.
Yeah.
Before we get to the trend, like the general main characters.
So I went and saw the Hans Zimmer Experience concert
I bet you
year.
did.
And it wasn't Hans Zimmer, but it was like a lot of the band that he works with,
Right.
a lot of the musicians he
Right.
works with. And when they did Man of Steel, they did the First Flight theme. Dude, you have
got
no
chills.
idea. The chills and the
I
just
bet
power and
it's a very good theme.
sound. Oh, it is fantastic. It is.
It's very inspirational.
The Man of Steel soundtrack is perfection. Like I there's no other way to say it. It is perfection. It is, in my opinion, Hans Zimmer's absolute best soundtrack that he did.
I kind
he's
of
done some
agree.
amazing
And he's
things.
done. Dude's done Dune.
He did Dune. He did Gladiator. He did Parts of the Caribbean. He did Lion King. I mean, there's so much that he was involved with over the years. But I think Man of Steel is the best. And then this here, we're at the moment here where Lois is being a journalist and being investigative and actually doing her job. Like I said, she is handled and written so well and portrayed so well up through these parts. I love it.
It's just sad that Hans Zimmer had to work with the screenplay that is Man of Steel.
I don't know. Like, again, I think it's perfectly fine. I think it's more than perfectly fine. It's all fantastic.
Except for the ending. We can agree on that.
Yes and no.
Nolan even said, "What are you even doing here? Why are you doing that?" He was very cautious of that decision by Snyder. But all right, dude.
All right,
man. Like I said, I got you on recasting and everything. Cool. Are we doing BVS next week?
I don't know when. I don't know what I'm doing next week yet because I don't want to just do everything in order. Like I'm gonna jump around and do things.
Do you want to do like a post? When's your screening on Saturday?
It's at, I don't know yet. I didn't actually get the tickets yet.
Let me know because mine's at 2:30. Because I'm willing to get on maybe like a small half-hour discussion of it, maybe if you're cool with that. Post like reaction.
I have stuff going on Saturday. I have birthday parties to go to, and then I have SummerSlam is this weekend. So
I forgot about SummerSlam.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Well,
all right.
I might have you on like briefly during my post reaction, but let me know. All right, I'll catch you. So, see you.
Right, see you.
See you guys.
So I believe this is the final flashback of the movie, and this is where Jonathan and Clark are having an argument in the truck here, leading to what is possibly the biggest controversy of the film. I know there's at least one more after this, but I think this is the biggest controversy of the movie as we get to the tornado scene. And I've said this for years and years. I understand that having Jonathan Kent die from a heart attack like he has in the past shows Clark that he can't save everyone. But there's so many different levels to this moment in the movie, in this story, that I think it trumps that lesson. For one, we're seeing Jonathan here being a hero. Like he's showing his son like the right thing to do, to be a hero, to save families, to save kids, to save their dog, to go save their dog. Every being on this planet is worth something. And that is what Jonathan is showing here. So number one, that is an amazing little aspect of this scene. Now, obviously, it's all intense. You know, you got to make it intense. The music's all crazy. You see the big tornado and all the wind blowing, and then Jonathan gets stuck in a car, all that kind of stuff. Like, I get that. You know, you have to make it crazy and freaking intense. But the moment when he steps out of the car, he knows that's it for him. He saved their dog. He helped save a family and their child. The one person that could save him is his son, but he knows that it is more important that his son stay hidden because his entire life is about protecting his child. And what this shows is even when you want to, even when the there's it's your father, you can't save him because he has that respect for what his father has been teaching him and has taught him to this point. And it's just again, it's a beautiful moment, and I understand. I do. I truly understand why some people don't like it because of the whole thing with he could have saved him. He's so fast. He could have saved him. But enough people already suspected or thought something weird with Clark. This would have just been another thing, and more people, and it would have just continued to kind of roll, and it wouldn't have worked very well. He would have been found out about early on. The movie, or the part of the movie I'm at, is here. Lois is talking to Perry. She's getting suspended because she went a little too far. What are we saying over here, guys? Powerful says, did you finish the film? No, we're not at the end of the movie yet. Let's see. D-Man says, DCU needs to find a way to attract talent to their movies like the MCU does with actors, writers, and directors. First off, Mike Flanagan writing Clayface. Come on. That's huge. What else do we got? We got what's his face? Craig Gillespie, that's his name. Gillespie. He's a talent. Like, he's a big get. Like, he's an pretty big up and coming director right now. So they're getting people. Anna Naguaria, I know people are upset about the Supergirl movie and they are blaming her for it. I don't blame her for it. I've talked about that. So I think they're getting, and the cast they're getting is pretty good as well. Afbret says, who makes a good Bruce Wayne Batman for the DCU? Go, Brandon Sklenar. I don't know. Jake Gyllenhaal. He's always been my pick. D-Man says that Man of Steel suit does look awful, doesn't it? Looks kind of plasticky looking. I wouldn't say it looks plasticky. It's just because it's so muted in colors, even when it's supposed to shimmer, like they wanted it to look like it's steel made out of metal, it doesn't work, in my opinion. D-Man, I still think we have yet to see the definitive version of Superman suit in live action. Jesus is GOAT. Just dropped in to say Man of Steel is awesome. You guys are awesome and keep up the good work. Thank you, Jesus is GOAT. Yeah, I love Man of Steel. Man of Steel is fantastic. So thank you for stopping by, man. Afbrat, maybe he thought the world wasn't ready for him, but the scene is still cringe. So the moment he's having this conversation with his mother and how she's like, they were just their parents, just scared for their child. And I think that's why this hits me so hard. I'm not saying that it would hit all parents the same way, but being a parent myself, like, yeah, you want to protect your children and keep them safe from the big scary world out there. We got the great Harry Lennox, General Swanwick, which turned out to be John Jones in Zack Snyder's Justice League, which was a late addition, a late change, regardless of what Zack Snyder and his fans want you to believe. So we're a little almost halfway through the movie, and this is when Zod and everybody kind of just shows up to Earth. And D-Man says, so is Gunn gone as CEO of DC in November? That would be 4 years from the start of his contract in November 2022. He and Peter Safran signed an extension. Now, it was believed that extension went through April of 2027, but it's being speculated that it very well could actually be an extension that goes to the end of 2027, which would give him the ability to finish Man of Tomorrow and get Man of Tomorrow out, and then go from there. And probably a couple other projects that will be coming out in 2027 as well. So this moment in the movie here is where they look up to the sky and they see the ship, Zod's ship. UFO sighted. Brett, you could compare it to the pilot episode of Lois and Clark when Pa Kent is talking to Clark and Pa cautions Clark to be more careful. Yeah. This was a cool introduction to Zod, to the world here. I thought it was really smart, and it kind of went back to Zack Snyder's horror roots when it came to Dawn of the Dead and things. It is supposed to give you that eerie and scary type of feel, which I think is cool. D-Man says, can't believe Man of Steel and Supergirl has the same Rotten Tomato score now. The crazy thing about Supergirl is the story is very similar to that of Man of Steel. Very similar. It even has a similar kind of tone to it. It has a little more comedy, of course, but the tone and the feel and the story is very similar to Man of Steel. And what I think that kind of proves is that a lot of people who sit there and say that the world needs Zack Snyder today to do things, I think Supergirl proved that it wouldn't work. Such a crazy scene. Such a, like, I again, I sit here and just think about, like, why did they decide to go this route to make it scary, or try to make it scary, intense? I mean, I know, I understand. I know why, because like I said before, it was all about trying to put the audience shoulder to shoulder next to these characters. So they wanted us, the audience, to feel that fear of what it would be like for aliens to just show up. D-Man says, so what do you think they're going to do with the Supergirl writer who is also writing Wonder Woman and Teen Titans? As I said, I don't think Ana Niguaria was the problem with Supergirl. I think that a lot of the issues that people have with Supergirl comes down to editing and the final cut of that movie. You can definitely tell in that film that they edited out many things. The story I thought was solid, but I would love to see a longer cut of that movie to really get a feel for the script. But that's me as a viewer, as an audience, as a commentator. If James Gunn and Peter Safran believe that Ana Niguaria was the problem, then they need to get somebody else in there to write Wonder Woman, to write Teen Titans, or at least help her. But again, from what I saw from Supergirl, that's not what I see. I don't see that. Afbret says, how is it similar? Sorry, I missed part of it. The journey of Supergirl compared to the journey, so the journey of Kara to the journey of Clark in this movie, of the whole, my planet's gone, I'm trying to find my place in this universe, in this world. Who am I? What am I supposed to be? That whole aspect of it is Man of Steel and that Supergirl. Like that is the core essence of both of those films. Is who am I? Where do I fit in this universe? They're handled differently. They're executed differently, of course, but in essence, they're very similar in story in that regard. And then even in tone, I think a lot of people sit there and try and say Craig Gillespie was trying to do an impersonation of James Gunn with his directing, but when you watch that movie, it's far more like Zack Snyder than James Gunn. I completely forgot about this flashback here, where Clark gets bullied in front of the shop as he's reading the book Plato. Yeah, I forgot this. Being reserved, holding back. Interesting. Brett says, from what I understand, the director's cut of Supergirl did better with test audiences, but Gunn released the shorter cut. Yeah, there was something about that. It wasn't so much shorter as it was they changed some things around, made some different choices with music and with the way things were presented on screen. I don't know if it was much shorter or much longer, the director's cut and the studio cut, but here's the thing. I know people, thanks to what happened with Zack Snyder, everybody has this idea and thought that, hey, directors should have final cut of every movie. That's just not the case. There are very few directors in this world that get what's called final cut. You're looking at Spielberg, you're looking at Christopher Nolan, and maybe a couple more after that. There aren't many who get that final cut of a movie. The studio is the one putting all the money into it. The studio is the one who's trying to really push this franchise or this story direction and things. They're putting the money into it. So the studio, I agree, should have final cut, final say in what movie is getting put on screen. Let's not forget that you take a step back. People honestly sit there and try and say, oh, artistic integrity is gone in Hollywood because they get final cut, studios get final cut. No, they allow the director to make the entire movie, and then collaboratively they create a final cut of the film typically. And that's just the way it is. I mean, you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars here, people. Sometimes the studio's right, sometimes the studio's wrong. But more often than not, when it comes to these bigger films, more often than not, they're right. D-Man, release the Gillespie cut, restore the Gillespie verse. It's ridiculous. And then Superman is turning himself over to the military. Such a great scene. The music, guys. I can't stop talking about the music enough when it comes to this movie. I just can't. I would like to speak to Lois Lane. The line delivery here from Cavill is pretty rough. I will say that it's pretty rough. But again, I like no movie is perfect. No movie is perfect. D-Man says the theme song increased the Rotten Tomato score by at least 15% of Man of Steel. You're probably not wrong. You're probably not wrong. What's the S stand for? On my world, it's not an S. In my world, it means hope. Well, here it's an S. There's something about Cavill in this scene that it looks like he's trying to do an impression of Christopher Reeve in that playful moment in the apartment in the first Superman with Superman and Lois, but it doesn't come off great. Let's see. Movie talk. What's going on, man? It says Man of Steel soundtrack is so good. Is so yeah, it's so good. Yeah, powerful. I agree. He was very Reeve looking here. Yeah, and not just in look, but the way he was trying to even act. It looked like that's what he was going for. But then this moment where he's looking through the mirror to Swanwick and having this conversation, this is the scene that I think he really starts to encapsulate and becomes Superman himself. He's not trying to portray anybody else. He's not having any weird moments like he was, when he turned himself over to the military. So it wasn't a long, like, weird period for him in this film, but that's the moment where I was like, okay, I see him as Superman now. I definitely do. And then it just kind of builds from there. I love the moments we're going to see here soon when they're on Zod's ship as well. I think, again, you take a look at that, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's Superman. Like that's Superman. D-Man, I said this a little bit ago. I love Cavill as Superman. But when you take a look at the whole, everything that encapsulates who the character is, Cavill was a very good Superman. He really grew into that role from Man of Steel to Batman v Superman. But he never was able to get Clark Kent. And he always just looked like Superman. Even when he was supposed to be Clark Kent, he just looked like Superman. So for me, Corn Sweat is able to encapsulate Clark Kent Superman far better than Henry Cavill could. Not to mention that he feels so much more like what I would read on the comic book page when I would read Superman comics. Corn Sweat is so much more of the, oh, gee, shucks, golly type of Superman that I read. So I like that. Again, that's not knocking Cavill because I enjoy different iterations, but I do like Corn Sweat's better. I think he is better. Powerful says Reeve is better than both of those pretenders. I wouldn't say he's. I love Christopher Reeve. I love what he did with the role, but people seem to forget that. Like, watch Superman 2. Like, Superman 2 is good. It's a good story. It's a good movie, but he doesn't have much range. That's my problem with Reeve. Is while he's good as Superman and he's good as Clark Kent, it's the same thing over and over again. Like there's no shift. It's almost like he's just playing the same. I don't know if I'm making sense here. Like Corn Sweat, for instance, when he gets angry, and I like that. I think that's impressive. Like showing Clark and Superman be angry, that's great. Showing him be heroic, showing him being goofy and fun, showing him being Clark Kent and aloof, that's great with Corn Sweat. Christopher Reeve, like when he was angry, it was comedic and didn't work as anger. When he was being aloof as Clark, that worked, but excuse me. But again, I think Corn Sweat has more range than Reeve. Not take away anything Christopher Reeve did, but we've only seen Corn Sweat in one movie as well. Well, I mean, fully, like for an entire film. So I'd like to see where it goes come Man of Tomorrow and anything that we get after that. Movie talk now. There's never been bad Superman actor. Reeve was great. Kane was great. Routh was great. Cavill was fantastic. Corn Sweat was fantastic. Agree. Yeah, you guys talked about Routh here. He was great in the Arrowverse. I loved his Kingdom Come Superman in that. So we're now at the scene where they're going up to Zod's ship. And Zod will be introducing himself to Superman. Uh, again, these moments here, you can definitely like see what they were going for with the directing and the shaky cam, getting close to his face. They want you to feel what he's feeling as much and as best as possible. D-Man says Superman No Way Home movie with Ralph, Cavill, and Corn Sweat. What do you all think? Sure, why not? Movie talk now. Controversial opinion. Man of Steel might be the best first contact alien movie ever. I'd have to really think about that, but you might be right on that. You might actually be right on that. Powerful says, D-Man replies to D-Man, even the Superman movie won't make $1 billion with Corn Sweat, Cavill, and Ralph. No, probably not. I just there's so much exposition in this movie, and I think that's another thing that people don't like about it. And I don't think I've ever heard anybody say, "Oh, there's so much exposition," but the more I watch it and realize, like, there is just a lot of moments where people are talking. Like, you have that whole part with Jor-El, which is a good probably 3 or 4 minutes of him just talking to Clark. Now you have this moment here with Zod talking to Superman. Another 3 or 4 minutes where they're just talking and just having a conversation and kind of building up what happened in the past. Is it needed? Probably not. They probably shouldn't have kept this stuff in it. They probably should have found a way to, just go past this. But I don't hate it. I just think that maybe tightening it up a little bit, removing some of it, and allowing the story of Superman versus Zod play out a little faster, I think may have helped it and benefited the movie. Let's see. Afra says, even when Kane's Clark Soups got angry, it was more comedic than real human emotion. Yeah, it's so weird how that worked out. But with Corn Sweat, like, the range is there. You have the anger, you have the silliness, you have the heroicness, you have everything there. Powerful. That's just sad though. Like, a Superman movie can be really good and not make $1 billion on less cameos. Powerful says, Slav, you're starting to sound like the cult now. You don't understand Snyder's greatness. Where did I say that? Where did I say Snyder's greatness? I'm just look. I think what he did with his movie was really good. I don't think every movie he's done is great. D-Man, Batman, No Way Cave might have a chance to make a Billy though, with Keaton, Bale, Affleck, and Pattinson. That would be so weird. They're all so much different in size and height and everything. It'd be so weird. Powerful says, haha, Snyder is great at visuals. He really is. Another great scene here. Oh no, look, it's Superman in a black suit. such a weird. So people were upset about Superman 25 that Clark was sent to essentially kill and make as many wives as possible. But literally there's a scene here where Zod explains, we were conquerors, Kal-El, and together we are going to continue to conquer and thrive and create our Kryptonian race again and make it thrive. Now, I get this is coming from the villain as opposed to the hero's parents, but let's not forget and make a mistake that that's his heritage. His heritage, where he came from, was a group of conquerors. And That's in Man of Steel, and that's in Superman 2025. It's just they approached it in a different way. Regardless, though, Superman rejects that idea, rejects this whole idea of being a conqueror and destroying other planets and Earth. That's the whole point of the that little moment. And people just get upset about it. Like it just baffles me how people are with things. Afbret says, I know Reeve would be proud of Corn Sweat as all others who came before him. Powerful says, honestly, I didn't like the scene where everyone turns on him. Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about 2025 Superman, that was a weird scene. I talked about that last week. Like, I don't understand that scene completely, but it is. D-Man says, you forgot Welling. Tom Welling's great. He says, Welling was never Superman. He was Superman in heart, where it matters most. And did you not see the last episode? The very end, he puts on the suit. Yes. You guys are talking about Dean Cain being a complete flop and Tom Welling wearing a CGI suit. And guys, they were all Superman in their own right, in their own way. I am Cal's father. You can't sit there and say that Tom Welling was not Superman. I know that Welling has said, I never became, their whole thing was no flights, no tights. But Superman is not just the tights, is not just the suit. It's the idea, it's the portrayal of how he handles things. And he was Superman in that regard. He was Superman. Afbret says Kane was fine first time. Don't agree with what he has said lately, but he's still on my favorites list. Afbret says Smallville was never about Superman. I mean, it was about Clark Kent, Kal-El becoming Superman. Yeah. Powerful says, honestly, I think DC needs to stop putting their movies out in the summer. They need to have learned some lessons. I agree. I think that they should have, instead of looking at July, where it's always packed, they should have looked at the end of April, at least in the beginning of the DCU, to really establish themselves and have a better chance at having financial success with their movies. Powerful says, Slav said this many times, but why put your movies against competition? Yeah, again, here's the thing. I believe a good movie will always do and make the money it's supposed to make, regardless of when it's put out. And I'm not saying that the DCU hasn't made good movies, but like, take a look at last year, 2025, with Jurassic World, Fantastic Four, Superman, all coming out within 3 weeks of each other. Superman won that battle. But then when they take Supergirl and you look at Supergirl and you put her movie out with Toy Story and Minions, and wasn't there another movie I can't think of right now? But you put it against those types of movies. Moana, I think, was the other one. It's not going to do well. That's gonna be a rough patch for Supergirl, and moving a character like that out of there. I mean, even if they would have put Superman last year out at the end of April, I think it probably would have hit that 650, 700 million, because it would have been something for people to go see. Whereas, again, it was still successful. Like I said, a movie's going to succeed and make its money if it's good. but Supergirl was that was just like, I like the movie. I think it's a fine movie, but it didn't land for everybody, and that's just how it is. You guys still talking about Smallville there? We just missed my favorite scene. My favorite scene where you could save her, Cal. You could save all of them, and he goes out in his Jesus pose. The religious symbolism in this movie, which I could have talked about earlier, is phenomenal. I love the religious symbolism in this film, and I actually did a whole video on the religious symbolism and connections on this movie and the Bible. It is a great video. I encourage everyone to check it out. I really break down all of the connections and reasonings for those religious connections there. I was going to start a huge series called Pulp Culture in the Bible a few years ago, where I would take different movies that have very strong religious undertones and connections and really highlight and discuss them in a video. I did a few. I think I did 2 or 3 of them. One with Star Wars, one with Man of Steel, and I don't know if I was going to do a Matrix one. I don't think I ever did it. Actually, I don't think I ever edited it. I think I may have filmed it, but never edited it. But it was a cool idea and aspect. But I encourage you guys to find on my channel the one with Superman, because I think it's great. Let's see. Luke Cage, what's going on? Says, man, the stakes of Man of Steel feel so heavy, so real, so personal. You can feel the pain in Zod's voice when Kal destroys the last world engine. I miss this in DC films. Yeah, I mean, this was a much heavier film for sure than we are used to with comic book movies. Powerful says you should see Supergirl. It's way more emotional than Man of Steel. Yeah, I would say you're not wrong on emotional impact of Supergirl, but I don't think it has the same impact of visuals for it. Keep your hands off my mother, or whatever he says. That's coming up here in a second. What'd that truck do to you? Come on. Where is the Codex? Zod loves to scream in this movie. So we're about to get into the best action scene in the movie. And then I think that's another problem. We are an hour and 30 minutes into this film. Hour and 30 minutes. And we're getting to our first big action sequence for a superhero movie. We've had little moments here and there up to this point, but maybe that's another issue. Maybe it just took too long to get to this point. And that's why I think there's some things that they could have easily cut out of the movie, some of the exposition that they have, for sure. But this is where we are. Movie Talk Now says, all Zod had to wait was for ChatGPT to launch Codex. Nah, now it's everywhere. Luke Cage. Perhaps had they spent more time on Krypton, it could have. That was the best parts of Supergirl. I still think Supergirl was better than James Gunn's Superman. Me too. I think so too. I like Superman, but I really like the Supergirl movie. I really do. I do really like the Supergirl movie. I actually didn't pick it up today. I needed to buy it. I didn't buy it yet. It just released on digital today. So I need to get that. And now they're in Smallville about to fight. This is a great scene. Best action scene in the movie. But there's so much product placement everywhere in this moment. Half-Bred, I'm just glad with Superman we finally got an adaptation where we didn't have to sit through his origin. Very true. Powerful says, honestly, I think Supergirl's a top 10 DC movie. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know if I go that far. I really do like it though. D-Man says, are we going to be getting a Lobo movie in the future? Um, I would think that we'd probably get a Lobo TV show before a movie, but that's just my thoughts. They decimate this town. The destruction that happens in Smallville is insane. Absolutely insane. You're right, Powerful. Lobo wasn't the reason Supergirl underperformed. D-Man thinks that Lobo could be DC's version of Deadpool in space. Perhaps. Apprat says, well, in Lois and Clark, we didn't get his origin story until deep into the first season. IHOP, there's the IHOP. We got 7-Eleven, we got IHOP, we had Sears. It's just product placement everywhere. I like the fighting. How Superman just throws punches. Like he has no abilities, like no knowledge on how to fight because he's so young and being Superman. And I do like that aspect of him. He's not just there being powerful and unstoppable and unbeatable. That's another thing I really like about it because he has to use his brain. He has to use everything that's inside of him to really come out victorious in these fights. Powerful says, Slav, do you think Supergirl would have done better because of Jason Momoa? Supergirl would have done better because of Jason? Would have done better? I think Momoa didn't hurt the movie, nor did he really help the movie. It maybe helped a little bit, but I don't think it helped that much. One of my favorite moments is whenever Superman's getting his ass beat here on the ground, and he tries to fly away, but he gets grabbed by his cape and slammed down. There it is, boom! He gets slammed down. It's such an interesting choice. Again, there's so many great moments in this movie like that Snyder just was really smart. Oh, look, U-Haul. I forgot U-Haul was another product placement here. So many product placement. Just the military aspect was cool. I really liked that, and I thought that was fun. Just having military presence is not something that, in this regard, we've never really seen. Like they're like, oh, we're gonna take out these aliens, but no, we're not. D-Man said, how would Supergirl's underperformance and critical response affect Man of Tomorrow? I think that they have to rethink their marketing approach, and I still think they need to reconsider and rethink their approach in releasing and how they release the movie. Powerful, that's the thing. I don't understand. Would it have done worse without him? No, I think it would have done about the same. The idea of Super not being in the name of Man of Tomorrow, I think, is actually what's going to hurt the movie. I think they need to find a way to add Superman's name into it to help it so people understand it's a sequel to Superman 2025. Afbret says, that was my other problem with Cavill's suit. His cape was way too long. He practically stepping on it. Oh, man, I love his cape. I think his cape is great in this. As people love to say, cape porn. Excuse me. What didn't hurt Man of Steel? Man of Steel, like Man of Steel being the name, or the Dark Knight? You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, it may not hurt it at all. I think the Dark Knight, though, I say this all the time, benefited from Heath Ledger's death, and it sucks to say that because I would have loved for him to continue playing that role in the third movie like they were planning on. But uh yeah, I don't know. I think the whole idea of the naming convention is important, and you have to do the right names. That helps as well, and that goes hand in hand with marketing. No, Afbret, it is not Superman Man of Tomorrow. It is simply Man of Tomorrow. No, no, not the cape. I mean, I like the cape. I do like the cape. Powerful says international audiences will be buying a ticket thinking it's Cavill. Absolute genius. Don't give any ideas to the Snyder Bros to complain about the DCU, because that's what they'll say. That's what they'll say. And this is the moment in the movie where where Superman comes out and the military stands down, and you start to see this. He's not our enemy. He's not our enemy. Why they had to make him look angry coming out there, though, I think was an odd choice. Like, they should have had him not coming out angrily, because he did. He looked angry coming and walking out of there, walking through the military soldiers, and then it changes where he's just kind of like a little more standoffish. I don't know. Some weird choices for sure. D-Man says, what would the third movie be named? Last Son of Krypton? Maybe. But again, Man of Tomorrow is technically not a direct sequel to Superman. While it is a continuation of the story, it's not Superman 2. So you could still, at some other point, do Superman 2 if you really wanted to, if they so chose to do it that way. Powerful says, I don't think we will get a third Superman for a while, even if it does well. Batman is priority. No, I disagree. Like I said a few weeks ago, Superman is your foundation of the DCU. You need to have him in a movie of some sort, whether it's his own movie, a team up movie, a cameo in a movie, whatever it is, every single year. I just think, like, you had Superman last year, he pops up in Supergirl this year. Next year you have Man of Tomorrow. The following year, maybe you have a Batman that year, or Wonder Woman, and have them pop up in that, because you want to make sure people understand, like, this is Superman. This is our Superman. This is who it is. This is where, like, we're following this guy on a journey. I have located the codex. Afra says, Gunny has even said Clayface takes place before Superman, the first movie that's not in chronological order. Yes, yeah, that's true, and that's fine. I mean, I hope that they jump around like that. Like, I'm fine with it. Like, give us a movie about young Hal Jordan. I would love to see that. Give us a story about, I don't know, anybody from the past. Give us a Justice Society. Give us a whole bunch of stuff. I'm all for it. D-Man says Matt Reeves still doing his Batman movies. Remove that plural from movie. It's just going to be a movie. I think he's done after this next movie. Personally, I think And that's the smart move for DC, in my opinion. Powerful. Would a Batman, Superman, World's Finest make money or be a complete flop? I think it would make money, especially if you get the right the right Batman. Latina Sunshine 67. Hey you back. D-Man says lots of Reeves in DC, isn't there? George Reeves, Christopher Reeve, Keanu Reeves, and Matt Reeves. Keanu Reeves? Oh yeah, Constantine. Well, it's Christopher Reeve. So it was George Reeves, Christopher Reeve, no S, Keanu Reeves, yes, and Matt Reeves, yes. So yeah, you're onto something there. Dave Miller, what's going on? Says they need to get general audience invested before they do stuff for the comic nerds. 100% agree. Look, you can do both at the same time. You just have to make sure that you get that large general audience into it. So we're at the moment here where the one part of the world engine is over top of Metropolis now. So we got about 25 minutes left in the movie. Powerful says Gunn directs Brave and Bold. You agree he'll be like Duck It, We Ball, F it, We Ball. What? Gunn directs Brave and the Bold. You agree he'll be like I don't think he's going to direct Brave and the Bold. And I am one of the ones who believes that James Gunn needs to step back from the director's chair just for a little bit, not forever. Just step back a little bit and then get back into directing at some point. But let's establish and really build the DCU before he jumps back in the director's chair. Like, I personally think that it would have been smart for James Gunn to direct Superman, hire somebody. He could have wrote the next one, but hire somebody to direct the next one, and then him just help build it and then direct the Justice League movie. Like, I think that would have been the smarter play for him. But hey, Latina Sunshine, it's emo nerd girl. If you remember me, I do remember you. I do remember. How are you? Powerful says, what would a gun Batman even look like? Yeah, I don't know. So these effects with the world engine and crushing Metropolis and the people and the buildings and everything there is so cool. It is really cool. It was a very different take on destroying the world or taking over the world. Let's not forget that back then, around this time, we were getting all of like the same thing where the villain was putting something on top of the Empire State Building and it was going to change the way that everybody looks in the world and turn them into lizards or something. I don't know. Like that's the kind of stuff we were getting back then. This was, I think, a cool way to go. Dave says Gunn loves the Adam West Batman, his favorite. That is concerning. Yeah, he likes Adam West. So do I. I mean, I have fond memories of watching Adam West as a kid, but I think he knows. First off, we got a glimpse of Batman in the DCU in Creature Commandos, and the way he looked in that was not Adam Westy. So I think we're all right. D-Man says Gunn needs to direct a Plastic Man movie. Yeah, definitely. Get the guy that does the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog to be Plastic Man. What's his name? I can't remember what his name is. I'm terrible with remembering actors' names. If I don't stop that machine. The interesting thing about all this is just 3 people decided what is best for stopping this. Like, they didn't get the president involved. They didn't get any like 5-star, 4-star general, whatever. I don't know how many stars it goes up to. You didn't get a 4-star general. It was not the vice president, not Congress. It was just like, hey, just us 3 here, just a couple military men and Superman. This is what we're going to do. This is what's best. We know. Dave says, yes, gun is more Plastic Man or Booster Gold material. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I could definitely see that. Ben Schwartz, that's who I'm thinking of. Get Ben Schwartz to play Plastic Man. I would be all for that, for sure. So I'm sure some of you know the story of Superman Lives, the Superman movie that was going to be directed by Tim Burton in the 90s, starring Nicolas Cage. I don't know if you know the story of Kevin Smith, who was actually hired to write the movie at one point in time before he was taken off by Tim Burton. But John Peters, who was a producer at Warner Brothers back then, really wanted some things to be done in a Superman movie. They, even in 2013, got those things that John Peters wanted. John Peters wanted a polar bear in a Superman movie, which we see a polar bear in this film. But then he wanted Superman to fight a spider. Yes, he wanted him to fight a giant spider. Now, the giant spider that he fights is obviously the World Engine, and it's got the tentacles and legs almost, and the legs like a spider almost. That's kind of the whole idea. I always think of that story of Kevin Smith where he talks about what John Peters wanted in a movie, and then we see it in 2013, which was 20 some years later probably, and we finally see it. To me, that's ridiculous and crazy. I will say this scene that we're on now where he's fighting the World Engine, the coughing that he does is so out of place. I remember sitting in the theater watching this and hearing the coughing from Superman, and I thought it was actually somebody in the theater because just it doesn't sound right. It doesn't match with the movie. But again, it's no movie's perfect. No movie's perfect, but this, in my opinion, is damn near as perfect as you can get. Latina says, I'm good right now. I'm trying to embrace my Hispanic culture. Go for it. My best friend growing up was Mexican. Was a Mexican kid guy. He's still my friend to this day, but good kid. Gotta embrace your Hispanic culture. Absolutely. D-Man, I hope if Gunn directs Batman, we get the 66 Batman theme. Jeez. Afrat, Nicolas Cage would have been the worst Superman actor ever. So glad that was canceled. Dude, I would love to see it, though. I would absolutely love to see Nick Cage like actually play Superman. I think it would be hilarious. Latina says, I like Blue Beetle. Can you think of any more Hispanic superheroes? I think of any. I can't, but let's take a quick look. America Chavez from Marvel. She was, in Doctor Strange 3. Jessica Cruz, one of the Lanterns. Renee Montoya, who plays the Question. So yeah, there's a few in DC. Jaime Reyes, Miles Morales technically is Hispanic. Yes, he's mixed. So yeah, there's a good bit. There's a good bit. Kendra Saunders is a Cuban American who played Hawk Girl, or who is Hawk Girl. So there's quite a few. It says Miles. Yeah. The one thing that I always struggled with also a little bit with this movie, again, not enough to get me to like not like it, but was Jor-El. His consciousness, his ability to still talk like he's there and alive, it kind of bothered me. Like, to me, it feels a little cheap in a way to get Russell Crowe to do more acting and to push the forward. Again, more exposition. There's so much exposition in this movie. It's crazy. Any Indian superheroes, though, we aren't as represented. Is Kumail Nanjiani Indian? Is he played the one guy in Eternals? Yeah. What the heck's his name? I can't remember the character's name. That's the only one I can think of right now. I apologize, because you're right. Not. Yeah, I don't think there's any really big ones. Miss Marvel. Huh. Yeah. No, it would not be nice to have Pattinson play Bruce Wayne Batman in the DCU. No. Everybody's getting scared. Oh man. Yes. Jenny. We have Jenny here, who is supposed to play Jenny Olsen. And that was revealed by the actress who plays her in an interview. Even Deborah Snyder. Deborah Snyder, is that her name? Yeah. Even mentioned it in an interview prior to the movie coming out. They were trying to gender bend Jimmy Olsen back in 2013, but they then changed it at some point and changed her last name to not be Olsen. That's something that a lot of people don't know and are not aware of. But it is true. That actually happened. That did actually happen. Powerful says it would be nice to have Pattinson in the DCU so we can laugh at it. We can still laugh at Pattinson now. D-Man, Jenny Olsen instead of Jimmy Olsen. Snyder, you genius. Afra, I don't know of any redheaded superheroes, just super villains. Poison Ivy. Yeah. This scene here where they kind of morph Cavill's face for just a split second into Christopher Reeve's face is genius. Because if you look at that scene closely, you will actually see that moment, and you do see Christopher Reeve. It's ingenious how they do that. So this is big action sequence number 2. It was all right. It wasn't as good as the Smallville fight at all. It was all right. It's just fighting a robot essentially in the Indian Ocean. Which, again, John Peters wanted him to fight a giant spider, and that's what they got. There is a moment. It is a split second powerful. I'm telling you, it is there. It is a split second, and they talked about doing it. I want to say maybe it was Snyder, or maybe it was a producer on it. They talked about how it's just a split, like literally just a split second, where you see it's from, I think it's from the side as he's flying up towards it, and it's a split. I'm telling you, it's there. It's there. D-Man 7000 Snyder killing off Jimmy Olsen and BVS, also another genius move. Genius Snyder. The scene that Derpy was talking about. It's supposed to go in. It's supposed to go in all the way. This is a cool scene, even though the aftermath makes no sense with them about to fly the ship into the other world engine part in Metropolis. Movie talk. Jimmy Olsen changeup was one of the dumbest things Snyder did, and And I love Snyder's work. It was really dumb. Powerful though. Hey, Snyder is the blueprint. If you destroy this ship, you destroy Krypton. Krypton had its time. Its chance. The music. The music is so good. And then, have you ever seen the supercut of this with the beginning of Batman v Superman? Somebody made it and put it online. It was fantastic, where they just supercut the moments of Bruce Wayne watching things and cut to the scenes in this movie, cut back to Bruce Wayne watching what he's seeing. It's so good. It's so good. And Brett Donner is the blueprint. Jimmy wasn't. That wasn't Jimmy Olsen. I don't care what anybody says. It wasn't Jimmy Olsen. So stupid. I know what it says. It's not supposed to be. All right. We got a Wilhelm scream there. Love the Wilhelm screams. Brett says nothing will ever beat John Williams. Look, John Williams is what got me into musical composition and scores, and really got me into music growing up. So I agree, John Williams is fantastic. But Hans Zimmer, you're looking at 1A and 1B. You got John Williams 1A, Hans Zimmer 1B. Like, they are both so fantastic at what they do, and the emotion that they're able to bring to films. A good death is its own reward. So again, this moment is a little wonky and ridiculous because everybody's getting sucked in to that, but Lois is not. She's falling. She's falling when everybody else and everything else, even the things on the ground, are getting sucked in. It makes no sense. Everything is getting sucked up past her. It was, yeah. Made no sense. Again, not enough for me to not like the movie, though. And then you see Metropolis just decimated. Just absolutely decimated. I always said that I thought it would be a cool idea to tease Batman at the end of this movie. I think it would have been cool to do like a mid-credit scene where even if it's not showcasing who the actor is, but having his plane land and him walk out, and even if you get a shot of it because he's going to go and help rebuild Metropolis. I thought that would have been a cool way to do it, but alas, they did not, and we got what they did in BVS. Let's see. And then we get to the beginning and almost the start of the Zod and Superman fight, which the emotion that Michael Shannon brings to this scene, really not just this scene, but from this until his death, is, I mean, Michael Shannon was such a phenomenal choice for this character. Powerful. There's literally no point in Wallace's close movement. Cavill's now 45. Gala's box office poison, and Affleck said last month that he never wants to play superhero again. But as a lot of them like to say never, right? But exactly, they're all basically too old for their roles. They've all moved on. It's time others do the same. So the emotion blames Superman taking everything from him. I'm going to make them suffer, Cal. D-Man Snyder, one of the greatest directors of all time, though. I even like Cavill, but he's nearly 50. It's over. He's what, 43? I thought. He's only 40. Yeah, he's only 43. He's not almost 50. Hey, come on. I'm 40. Don't go saying that. Don't go saying that. That's not very nice. One thing I like about this moment is as Zod is kind of developing these powers, the one thing he never develops is the ability to fly. That's that they keep that to Superman essentially. Like I know that there's that moment where they're in the sky and they're fighting, but it's not Zod flying. He's just getting punched by Superman, and then they take him out to space, and then they fall back down. Like it's never Zod flying, which I do like. Afra says Hoechlin was the first Superman actor who was younger than me. Huh. Again, just the fights that they're the fighting that Superman does in this is just so like he doesn't know what he's doing, and I like that about it. I love that aspect. Half Brett says told him when I saw him in Motor City Comic Con a couple months ago, he didn't want to believe me when I told him he was younger than me. How old is he? Um, Tyler is he's born in 87, so he's only 39. Man, he looks older than that though. Where did you train? On a farm? How does he know that was a farm though? How did he know that's a farm? And then he wears his pajamas to fight. I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of like pajamas. At least it's like long underwear. And that's what Superman wears in these films. It's underwear essentially because it's what they wear under their armor. So he's literally wearing underwear in the Snyderverse in the DCEU. Just food for thought if you're ever wondering. Just like long johns, like what old cowboys used to wear under their stuff back in the olden days. I think that's funny. And I guess Zod is flying. I didn't think he was flying, but he does. They had him flying this. That's kind of he does fly because he hovers up and everything. Yeah. Oh well, I was wrong. I don't think they should have given him all the abilities so quickly, though. I know that he was a warrior and such, but you guys are going to make me hate this movie, aren't you? No, I'm just kidding. Brett Tyler is 8 days shy of being 1 year younger than me. Interesting. Oh, we're almost to that part. The other controversial scene at the end of the movie where Superman kills Zod. I mean, yes, he could have done other things. He could have flown up. He could have just covered his eyes with his hand. He could have done a lot, but uh, it is what it is. You know, he had to make the choice. He had to make the tough choice of the last connection he had to Krypton or his new, I won't say new, but his real people. Movie talk, fair point, Slav, about him getting his abilities too fast. Yeah. Afrat, why can't they design suits to be more functional? Example, in the bathroom department. Funny guy says, imagine that the Cavill suit, but comic accurate. I think it would look more silly. Again, it's just underwear. He's just wearing underwear with a cape. It's like what we used to do as little kids when we would run around in our underoos and put a towel around our neck and say we're superheroes. Everybody did that, right? Wasn't just me. Everybody did that. That scream of despair. And then this scene here where he's crying was reused in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Flipped. They kind of flipped it a little bit. And I think it may have even been an alternate take that they used in Zack Snyder's Justice League for the one scene where it's the vision of seeing Lois dead as he's holding her bones in his arms. After says Soups doesn't kill, but it was either he kills Zod or Zod continues his rampage. Correct. Funny guy. But imagine that without the trunks. Yeah. What about Corn Sweatsuit without the trunks? I like the trunks on his. This scene here is why it's hard for me to believe that he's John Jones. He's the Martian Manhunter. After my friends and I would play Power Rangers at recess. Me too. It's an interesting scene. It's a fun scene building a relationship with Swanwick, and so a relationship I wish they would have built more on in Batman v Superman and such. But they use Swanwick more with Lois than Superman, which I thought was kind of weak. And then you get Carol Ferris here in this moment, which I thought was always interesting too. Kind of like, oh, are they going to get Green Lantern? And they never really do. Sid says females in Superman 25 greater than females in Man of Steel. You are such a gooner. Funny guy says, yeah, why would Martian Manhunter work for the military government? So out of character. D-Man, what about dogs? Dog was better too. Oh, because of Crypto and this scene. Come on, guys. If this scene doesn't just hit your heart, it's something parents do. Like, we stop for a moment sometimes and you look at your kids and you see them doing things that you just realize at that moment, like, they could be something. They could be something. And I think every parent feels that at some point, whether the child ends up being something or not. But like in this moment here, absolutely. Because we knew that he was going to be something. Funny guy says, I think the military would go after Martian Manhunter. Yeah, if they knew it was Martian Manhunter, they definitely will. Just like they went after Superman. The military would have him dissected. Sid says, I do agree it was a nice moment in the movie. And here we go. First shot of the Daily Planet with Clark walking in as an employee as he gets on and puts on his glasses. But nope, we don't see it yet. Nope. And then he looks at Jenny, and Jenny's like, no. And this scene is fantastic. It's another. I probably said fantastic too many times in this watch along, but I do love so much of this. Welcome to the planet. That's so great. And then the reaction that Clark gives, because he's like, yeah, it's a nice little pun. Welcome to the planet. Welcome to the Daily Planet. Love it. And then it's Man of Steel with the amazing bombastic theme in the background. Guys, this movie is so good. Even sitting there talking about and seeing some of the unfortunate things in it, it's still an amazing movie. It really is. But what do you guys have to say here? We'll finish up the chat and we'll call it a night. Sid says Superman and Man of Steel had similar themes, actually, of parents being proud. Very much so. Afbrat, my favorite scene was when he threw the drone out of the sky like it was a toy. Sid says Superman 2025 and Man of Steel, handshake. Yes. Funny Guy 9000. I wish Snyder explored more on the Daily Planet. I do too. But let's, guys, don't think. Like James Gunn didn't spend a lot of time with Daily Planet either in Superman, specifically with Clark in the Daily Planet. There wasn't a lot of time there. So I hope that's something that James Gunn kind of explores and fleshes out. Look, we're getting that Jimmy Olsen show. I think that's going to be a big part of kind of expanding the Daily Planet and such, but we'll see. Afbrat says, I hope Gunn explores more of the Daily Planet. Yes. Sid says, please do Suicide Squad 2016 next. I don't see why not. I'll put up another poll, but maybe. I am going to want to do Supergirl here within the next few weeks. I'm going to let people get it and stuff like that, or maybe I just wait till it's on HBO Max. That way, everybody can those who don't buy it can watch along as well. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. There was a lot of good conversation here with everybody in the chat. Thank you so much. Can't do Clayface next. I do this every week. I can't. Or are you just saying that's the next movie? Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I am doing all DC movies. Whether look, we can even go back to 77 Superman. We can do 89 Batman. We can do the Adam West movie. We can do any DC movie for as long as we can do it. And I want to do it once a week. That's what I want to do. These watch along Slavs movie night, just a lot of fun. But let's see. Said it's coming to Max in September. So it's Supergirl. I can wait till September to do that. Why not? All right, guys. I am going to get out of here. I am going to get to bed. I do have to work early in the morning. But Funny Guy says Air Squad would be funny to watch. Yeah. I think it'd be fun to discuss it already. But all right, guys. I'm getting out of here. Thank you all so much for watching with me. Like I said, this was a blast, and I'm going to do it again next week. Same time, same channel, just a different movie. So be on the lookout for what movie it's going to be. I will also be doing the Watchtower live on Monday next week, where we talk all about what's happening and going on in the DC world. But all right, guys, thank you so much for stopping in and doing things. Great show, says Movie Talk. Great stream, says Funny Guy. Sleepy emoji from Sid. Sid says, thanks, Slav. Have a good night. Yep. Thanks, guys. I will catch you all later.